This is BBC Radio 4. It's 6:30. Time for today.
Morning from Peter Hobday and Brian Redhead on Wednesday, the 11th of March.
Today's headlines. Expectation is rife that the Prime Minister will ask the Queen for a dissolution of Parliament.
This is GLR, the BBC station for London. The headlines this morning. The Prime Minister is expected to call a general election within the next 48 hours.
On the Underground, the closure of Mansion House because of a suspect package is now open again and trains are stopping there.
Amid speculation of an imminent general election, London's busmen and women have been speaking out over Conservative plans to privatise the capital's buses. Whilst the Ministry of Transport insists a privatised bus service is in the best interest of the public, bus workers are incensed by the proposals. They say it would lead to wide-scale redundancies and ultimate misery for London's commuters.
I heard on the news last night there's about 5 garages that are going to lose their conductors. But it makes me worried to a certain degree because I took on an added responsibility. I've got to bring up my grandson. And I need a job to help pay for things that he might need. I'm getting a little bit of help from the council because they class us as foster parents. But it's not the same as having a job. And I've never been out of work ever since I started work.
In all, I don't think the public have any respect for us. They hate us. Arguments, we've had arguments. Someone threatened to slash my face in one day, but...
Why?
Because I wouldn't let them get away with not paying. They didn't want to pay the fare.
So what did you say?
I went and got them. I went upstairs and got them. Told them to come and pay the fare.
We're saying to keep our London Red buses running. We're saying to keep our London Red buses on the road. Stop the deregulation of London buses. Sign our petition.
I am an absolutely committed bus man, bus driver, bus worker. I would do nothing else. I love my job as a bus driver. But I do not believe that we get the appreciation at times from our managers and from members of the public how important we are. We are very, very worried about losing our jobs to private operators who are in the business to make money. That will only make the service worse. It will not do any good to the people that catches buses. If you're trying to make money, you're going to cut corners.
Well, I've been on the job now just over 33 years, and you wouldn't believe it how the job has changed. Just to build up the traffic and things like that, you know, trying to run to time and aggravation of passengers. They do get annoyed at times, which is understandable, like with the traffic hold-ups and the delay, you know, the buses coming along. They do tend to take it out on the conductors or the driver, you know, whichever the case may be. If it's a one-man operated bus, they take it out on the driver. Or if it's a crew operated, they say, naturally enough, they have a go at the first man they can see, which is the conductor. But if you was to take that to heart, you'd be a nervous wreck at the end of the day. And anybody that deals with the public, you can never win. You can never win when you deal with the public. Never. You can have a good try, but you can never win.
Good morning, your manager.
Well, I deal with all the complaints that come into the garage.
You must be very busy then, right. Tell me, when your staff leave the garage,
yeah,
are they checked at all for dress?
They should be in full uniform.
Well, somebody's slipping up because they look terrible, some of them.
Yes.
Yesterday on the 15 bus,
yes,
the conductor was wearing a floppy cardigan, chains round his neck with jewellery. I couldn't believe he was a conductor. But I've seen it with trophy hats and all sorts.
Right, okay.
You have to contend with the traffic, you're getting used to that, but it's the people, man. It's the people more than anything that gives you hassle. And just the people's faces in general, because they're so miserable out here. And one old get says to me once, I said, thanks, love. He said, don't thank me, he says. I said, you miserable git. Yeah. It's just like any job, really. Sometimes I do enjoy it, and other times I just think, stuff it. I could do something, you know, easier than this.
These minibuses are a lot easier to manoeuvre, especially when you're in narrow streets like we are now. They become more acceptable to the public, and they do seem to accept them a lot more. They would prefer the larger bus, obviously, the double-decker hop-on, hop-off type. But unfortunately, the economic climate at the moment doesn't allow us. We have to be cost-effective, and I think this is probably the best bus available to us now at the moment.
John, he's my permanent partner, yeah.
What do you reckon to him as a bus driver?
He's good. He's very good. He can be temperamental at times, like everybody is. You know, so I've been with him quite a few years now, and in all that time, touch wood, I've never had a serious accident where we've had to make out reports and everything. And I've never been late. Down to me. Only going to Oxford Circus.
I enjoy the job when I'm out on the road, as I say, like, you know, I enjoy driving for a living. But, you know, I could do with a change. Like, I have had enough of bus driving, I'll be truthful about that. I have a slight regret, you know, when I was younger, like, I do regret that I didn't do the London knowledge. I think I would have enjoyed being a taxi driver, but that's life. Being a London bus driver, it used to hold a lot of pride years ago, but I think that has dropped off a lot. I mean, now you've got to be proud, like, to have a job, I think.
Oxford Circus, all change. Come along. Come on, end of the line. I'm not going any further.
I believe the time is now right to go ahead for a decision at a general election. There will be a particularly clear choice at this general election, and I shall be inviting them to make it on April the 9th. I'm utterly confident that we will win the election, that we will win the election with a clear and working majority. I have no doubt about that.
A lot of people, they like a woman bus driver. They say that we're safer than the men. We're a bit more considerate when it comes to women with babies and things like that. You know, we sort of tend to let them sit down first. The men don't really give monkeys about that.
What about the men bus drivers? Do they think they're better than the women?
No, because they're not. No. I think the men are all for women bus drivers. They're quite, when I joined the garage, they like the women bus drivers.
Brings a bit of glamour to the job.
I don't know, you better ask them now. Not if you see me at 4 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't.
Well, Michael Portillo, do you expect that there will be any significant change of tack on transport policy in the next Parliament?
Yes, we will be deregulating the buses. It's brought tremendous benefits outside London because we believe that competition can improve service to the customer and good heavens.
Anybody want the Edgware Road? I'm all right, yeah, I've always been all right. Me, I always look after number one. What it's going to be like for the young people in the industry, nobody seems to know. And when you start talking to the minibus drivers, they're working like Victorian hours for slave wages.
Well, the discrepancy at the moment is that a minibus driver is at a basic hourly rate of £4.31 an hour, opposed to, say, a one-person operated double-decker bus, which is about £5.60. The discrepancy there of £1.30 an hour. That's just on your basic hourly rate. If, for example, you do work overtime or double time and time and a half as comes into it, the discrepancy obviously grows a lot wider. And it does cause a lot of friction.
3 days I've been paid for. Well, I mean, you can't just not pay me. No, what happened? I worked. What did you do? 224. 224. Lovely. I'd like to look at that. Come back and see you soon. All right then. Nice one.
Tell you do. I can't do it. You took it. Look at that. See?
Doing 38 hours in this job ain't no fun. You're talking about £120 take home. You want to have a look at that?
No, this can't be right. I can count, mate. I think I'm more than you, I tell you. You got that, mate? Huh? I can count.
There's my name. There's my pay. £122 take home.
I think I'm more than you. It's obviously, isn't it? I mean, I'm a hard worker. Big bus counter, you would bring me.
Yeah,
right.
Look at that.
But look at this. They can't count, innit?
That's it. It's all right if you're a big bus driver, but when you're driving a minibus like us, We get £1.20 an hour less. You know, you work that over 50 hours. You're talking about 60 quid. Serious money.
Can you see yourself staying on the buses the rest of your life?
Nah, way.
No way. But then, you can't complain. If you complain, you're liable to be out the door.
I'm not prepared to drive a bus, or neither are my colleagues prepared to drive a bus, where another man is taking home £4 an hour more.
What, but Jim, why?
Why? Well, Charlie, are we being stupid here?
No, we're not being
Why?
stupid, Jim. The agreement is not in any other garage.
I'll tell you what, Charlie. You type train me on an 18 and every other driver on the Gold Arrows. We have let me finish, please. We have an equivalent licence. Now, we brought this argument up before, and I'm not going to go on and on about it. You know, I know it's morally wrong.
Yes, I agree.
So now you're turning around and telling me that if something goes wrong, we just slap in an 18 driver on a midi bus and he can drive a bus at £4 an hour more than the other guy. That to me is wrong. And any union official turns up here today and tells me that it's right. He's not fit to represent the people.
Danny, you must advise him. You must stand by. No, let me just explain that.
Ash, can I have an overtime docket and a lost property form, please? You know, Tottenham supporter's got her hand in an Arsenal scarf, look. You know, I've had a busy day.
You get the same sort of money every day?
No, different jobs paying different, money. They, if you're on the school, like some of the school buses, of course you get a lot busier on them with all the kids.
Do you enjoy that?
No, I hate it. Why? I hate picking up the school kids.
Why?
Because they're animals. It's not fair on the public neither, because once the schools come out, 3 or 4 buses will pass through Wembley, packed out with school kids, and the public, don't stand a chance at getting on them. So I think we should have school buses especially for them, the little gremlins.
Overtime. Now we can go on. See you, Joe. See you Monday. Bye.
We're here to deal with any problems arising from fraudulent travel through to personal injury accidents,